It's the lowest point on Earth. The water is so salty, it is literally impossible to sink.
Water from the Dead Sea is 10 times saltier than ocean water.
A place where water doesn't flow, but gathers and thickens, where salt grows like crystal bones beneath the surface.
So salty that no fish or plants live in its mineral-rich waters.
And entire roads vanish overnight without a sound. Here, in the shadow of ancient cities said to be cursed, the Earth isn't just changing. It may be remembering something we've forgotten. The place that shouldn't exist. More than 400 meters below global sea level, the Dead Sea sits in a depression so deep that it feels less like a shoreline and more like the bottom of a basin carved out of the planet itself. The air here is thicker, warmer, and heavier than the surrounding highlands, and the water looks strangely still, as if it has no reason to move. Nothing flows out of this sea. Whatever enters stays, trapped under relentless sun and dry desert winds. Over thousands of years, that isolation has transformed the water into something extreme. Its salinity reaches around 34%, nearly 10 times saltier than the open ocean. A human body cannot sink here, no matter how hard it tries. Visitors lean back, lift their feet, and float effortlessly as if gravity has loosened its grip. But the same chemistry that lets a person drift without effort kills almost everything else. Fish die within minutes. Most microorganisms cannot survive the brine. Even simple bacteria struggle to adapt. The contradiction gives the Dead Sea its strange reputation. Its mud is sold as medicine, its minerals exported around the world, and its waters are praised for soothing skin conditions and joint pain. Yet, beneath that surface, the chemistry grows aggressive, dense with bromine, magnesium, and heavy metals that would poison most ecosystems. This is not a gentle salt lake shaped by slow evaporation. It is a chemical reservoir built by accumulation without escape. At first glance, the explanation seems simple. A desert climate, strong evaporation, and a basin with no outlet. But the more closely scientists examine the sediments, the shifting shoreline, and the strange geological activity beneath the water, the more that simple explanation begins to feel incomplete. The cracks beneath the surface. From above, the Dead Sea appears frozen in time, still, unchanging, lifeless. But beneath the waterline, something far more dynamic is taking place. Each year, the water level drops by nearly a meter. Rivers that once fed it, like the Jordan, have been dammed or diverted upstream for agriculture and drinking water. What remains in the basin becomes heavier, more concentrated, more unstable. But evaporation alone doesn't explain what's happening underground. As fresh water seeps through cracks in the surrounding terrain, it dissolves the thick layers of subterranean salt that have compacted for thousands of years. These hollowed spaces give way without warning, forming sinkholes that yawn open beneath roads, houses, and even entire date farms. Since the 1980s, more than 6,000 of these sinkholes have appeared around the retreating shoreline, and that number is accelerating. Some of the collapses measure dozens of meters across and just as deep, swallowing sections of infrastructure in a matter of hours. Unlike earthquake zones, where fault lines are visible and movement patterns can be mapped, these voids are invisible until they aren't. The land simply gives out. For communities on the Dead Sea's edge, it means uncertainty is baked into the ground they walk on. And it's not just the surface that's failing. Beneath the lakebed, sonar surveys have revealed vast caverns and voids forming under the layers of sediment and salt. These are not natural aquifers or volcanic chambers. They are collapse zones, quietly expanding with each drop in water level. The Dead Sea is not drying out. It is hollowing from within. Ancient heat, hidden salt, and bitumen rising. Beneath the murky surface of the Dead Sea, the bottom is not coated with simple sediment. It is lined with thick, mineral-rich mud, dense with magnesium, bromine, and heavy metals that form a kind of natural chemical soup. But deeper still lie ancient salt beds that have hardened into layers over thousands of years, a stratified archive of everything this basin has absorbed without release. And among these layers, something darker and more volatile has always made itself known: bitumen. This black sticky substance, natural asphalt, rises unprovoked from the depths, sometimes floating in thick mats, sometimes bursting from the mud with enough force to discolor the shoreline. Ancient civilizations knew about it. Egyptian embalmers used it. Biblical accounts described rivers of burning pitch and eruptions of sulfur in this very region. Modern researchers still observe bitumen leaking upward from fissures on the seafloor. It is flammable, chemically reactive, and difficult to study because the Dead Sea corrodes most equipment. And yet, this phenomenon is one of the oldest observed traits of the region. The Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder noted floating masses of pitch on the water nearly 2,000 years ago. Thousands of years before modern geology, this place was already marked as a source of unnatural fire. This behavior has long linked the Dead Sea to the mythic cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, believed by many to have existed near its southern basin. These cities were said to be consumed by fire from above and below, an ancient judgment delivered through the very earth itself. Whether one believes the story literally or not, the region's geology gives those accounts an eerie plausibility. To this day, fire still seeps from the cracks. It is not constant, but it is not gone. What the sediment knows. In 2011, a team of geoscientists extracted a sediment core from beneath the Dead Sea that would change how researchers understood the region. Drilled from a barge floating over the lake's deepest point, the core extended more than 450 meters downward, reaching through over 200,000 years of uninterrupted deposition. What they found wasn't just salt and mud, but a timeline of environmental collapse written in geological language. Layer by layer, the core revealed abrupt transitions, alternating stripes of clay, salt, and crystalline gypsum that chronicled dry spells, floods, and massive climatic shifts. But the most alarming discovery came from the thick salt deposits sandwiched between what should have been normal sediment. Twice in the past 200,000 years, the entire Dead Sea had dried up completely, leaving behind layers of rock salt nearly 40 meters thick. These weren't gradual declines. They were complete disappearances, transformations so severe that they coincided with known episodes of societal upheaval across the region. The data, verified by institutions like the GFZ German Research Center for Geosciences and Tel Aviv University, revealed that the lake's vanishing had matched periods of extreme aridity in the Levant. Civilizations that once thrived nearby, including Bronze Age settlements and early agrarian societies, experienced sudden collapse. The cause was not volcanic or tectonic, it was environmental, and likely accelerated by feedback loops of heat, evaporation, and resource scarcity. This changes the narrative. The Dead Sea is not simply dying today. It has died before. It has vanished, reformed, and left behind geological scars from earlier collapses. The question is no longer whether it can disappear, it's whether we are watching the third time happen in real time. Theories that refuse to die. Despite decades of research, the Dead Sea continues to attract speculation that reaches far beyond traditional geology. Some of it stems from anomalies recorded with consistency, magnetic disturbances, unexplained heat signatures, and electronic interference that defies replication in laboratory settings. Compasses behave erratically near certain coastal zones. Cameras and drones occasionally malfunction near the sinkhole belt. These aren't myths, they're documented incidents, even if not yet fully explained. One example often cited by local researchers is a cluster of electromagnetic anomalies recorded during underwater surveys. While they don't suggest artificial structures, they do reveal patterns inconsistent with typical fault line behavior. Some physicists suggest that the dense mineral composition, layered over deep faults, may act as a natural capacitor, storing and subtly discharging energy in unpredictable ways. Others see this as a reach, but the fact remains, something beneath the surface resists standard modeling, and that resistance invites other voices. Fringe theorists, some operating well outside peer-reviewed science, argue that the Dead Sea may hide underground chambers or unnatural formations. A few have gone further, suggesting concealed installations or non-human presence buried beneath the salt. These claims are easy to dismiss, but their persistence reveals something important. This is a place where even silence feels charged with meaning. What gives these theories traction is not hard evidence, but the absence of it. Diving operations are rare and tightly restricted. Visibility underwater is poor, equipment degrades rapidly, and the closer researchers get to the unstable zones, the more difficult it becomes to record usable data. In that vacuum of certainty, myth thrives, because a mystery half solved is often more powerful than one explained away. A sea with no exit. What makes the Dead Sea so unnerving is not just what it contains, but what it refuses to release. It is a closed system, trapped by topography, deepened by time, and accelerated by human interference. Water enters but does not leave. Minerals accumulate, layers thicken, pressure builds, and as temperatures rise, that process only speeds up. There are no natural escape valves here, no tides to refresh the basin, no outlets to relieve its chemical burden. Geologists have warned that the collapse is not just visible, it's structural. Beneath the sea, where freshwater cuts channels through salt beds, the ground weakens with every season. If enough of these voids connect, it may trigger larger cascading failures, not unlike the dominoes that fall when a sinkhole appears, only on a continental scale. These scenarios are theoretical, but they are grounded in the math of stress, density, and hydraulic undermining. But beyond the science lies a deeper unease. The Dead Sea is not just a drying lake or an unstable depression, it is a mirror, a reflection of what happens when systems are pushed beyond equilibrium, when extraction outpaces replenishment, and when we fail to respect the boundaries of natural design. Its silence is not passive. It is a silence born of concentration, of time, minerals, decisions, and myths compacted so tightly that no breath can escape. This is why it disturbs, not because it is dead, but because it is active, reshaping itself invisibly, answering no questions, and demanding we ask better ones. It's not the noise of collapse that warns us, it's the quiet before. The Dead Sea is not breaking apart. It is behaving exactly as it always has, revealing, collapsing, concealing, and returning. Its silence is not the absence of life, but the weight of cycles we fail to notice. If that unsettles you, maybe it should. Subscribe to Listen Closer.